welcome to another League of Legends tutorial, and in this one we are going to be talking about how you as a jungler can absolutely destroy a lane. I'm talking enemy lane is level 4, your lane is level 7 kind of thing, where you get fed, your laner gets fed, and it really does demoralize the enemy team, but most importantly it gives your laner a ton of confidence if they know what to do. So, if you are a laner, I advise watching this as well, because the laner as well as the jungler needs to understand how to manipulate the lane state in such a way that you can actually completely shut down the enemy and get yourself a couple of fast wins. All of that with fancy effects and graphics coming up after this. So we did introduce this strategy a while ago when we talked about advanced jungle pathing. We combined pathing practices to create things like the loop method and how you can rotate around the map with your clears to repeat gank lanes and so on. But one of the earliest examples and most basic examples of that video was when you have a gank on a lane, you burn a summoner spell, you can go around pretending to leave, repeat gank from another angle right afterwards to, maybe get a kill and secure some tower plates. Now the whole idea of shutting down a lane isn't just about having kills, it isn't just about burning summoner spells. It's essentially crushing their will to play the game, making them feel like a Dyrus in Season 4. And as a jungler you need to know how to build off of what your laners are doing, but also what they are doing with their minion waves. So, we have two different examples. Now it's much easier to do this if your laner does something proactive by themselves. However, should you be on an invade path and you get first blood on the lane like the Jarvan does, on the Lulu here, a little cheeky blue buff invade. This move itself, while the Lulu shouldn't have face checked, she does die, she doesn't have her flash, you force the enemy jungler into a vertical jungling situation. Back when the Scuttle Crab was at 2 minutes, maybe you're just doing the Krug route now, this works really well on a side lane because the side lanes are longer, obviously top lane is the easiest one to do it. The whole goal is creating an experience deficit or an experience gap between your laner and the enemy laner as soon as possible. So the most important thing here is that the Lulu has no flash, so the Jarvan can get level 2 and immediately return to top lane. Why is it important he came right away? Doesn't matter if he gives up his bottom side jungle. At this stage you already know there's going to be vertical jungling purely because you stole the enemy's blue buff. This means it's safe for you to gank like this over and over again because you're not going to have the enemy jungler anywhere near the side of the map. The fact that his laner wasn't in position to help with this gank doesn't matter. He chunks Lulu. And because he knows he has control of all the camps on the top side of the map, it means he can simply do a mini loop, come right back, chunk her again. This time he used his flash. I think he was hoping that Cho'Gath was in a better position to do more damage, but nonetheless, close shave, but it's okay because the Scuttle Crab is spawning. When you can go take the Scuttle Crab, that gives you some resources back very nicely. You have Smite as well. And the whole benefit to your two ganks there is that the minion wave is pushed against the tower. When the minion wave is pushed against the tower, it's very easy to dive if your team has CC and the enemy laner is low HP and doesn't have flash. The Lulu will have to play with eyes in the back of her head now. She has no flash, she's been denied so much experience. And the benefit is that when you killed her for the first blood, she burned her teleport to get to the lane. So now she has to walk back up every time she dies until the teleport comes back. You also save the rest of your lanes from any teleport flanking maneuvers, which is really useful, especially for bottom lanes who love to be caught in that way. Now you can fall back, take your camps, get those off the map. You have a lot of experience from the minion soak, from the ganks, from hitting the tower plating. You have some gold. The reason he doesn't take the red buff before he goes back is because the enemy jungler had ventured into the jungle when there was that level 1 invade and died, giving that red buff to the Jarvan. And by the way, if you haven't taken your buff and you're going back to base, there's no reason to take it because you're not going to maximize its usage. The fact that he takes it upon coming back from the base means he gets the maximum duration of that while he's out on the field, and the burn and the HP regen is more than useful. Now, the Cho'Gath has done a great job of warding the top lane as well. The Lulu didn't invest in any vision and didn't place her trinket ward, which is really bad on her part, but a good representation of what most of you in mid and low MMRs are going to see. Not going to see that vision control from the enemy laner, and they're going to be really tilted from being ganked 3 times in the first 3 minutes. Because of this, Jarvan can hug the wall, go for the fastest approach to get in the lane. It is still a Lulu top, very annoying for a tank champion to lane against, which means Lulu can still do some work despite the early harass she's suffered. Jarvan rushes in and grabs another kill. They shove that wave, they can get more tower plates, he can go into the enemy jungle. He has complete domination of this side of the map. The Lulu has no teleport, no flash, no CS, no gold, and no vision. and that's when you know you have successfully dominated a lane and it's effectively useless for the next few minutes. Your laner will have a significant experience advantage and you shouldn't have to worry about it too much. You of course can return to this lane to get towers and heralds and so on, however it also gives you a bit of a window to impact the rest of the map, and this is what the Jarvan does, and you're seeing highlights of that right now. But now you're asking, well, how do I shut down a lane if I didn't get a free level 1 invade? Glad you asked. Let's look at this Warwick example. This one is my own, and it happened the other day. And I'm simply clearing my jungle. I'm looking around the map a little bit to watch the lane states to see the minions. And this example will show you a bit more why paying attention to the minions is very important. While also paying attention to the minimap, you can see on my minimap that Teemo flashed to try and kill the Illaoi. Illaoi then flashed herself to get away from the damage, and you were seeing that on the mini screen, but you also saw the movement on my minimap. So if you're watching your own cam just to check for invades, you don't know where the enemy jungler is, you can still watch the minimap while clearing because you don't need to micromanage auto-attacking a monster to see if any summoners are burned. What I do in this case is I move into the river, preparing vision control for a scuttle take. And before we look at what happens next, let's just cut to this graphic. And if you are ganking on the mid, top, bottom lane, it doesn't really matter because you can do the strategy on any of the lanes. If the reason the flash was burned is because of you, when you went to the lane and burned the flash, the strategy remains the same. It's just fortunate for me that the flash was burned already. If the enemy laner has teleport like this Illaoi does, as soon as you see them TPing back into the middle of a wave, and they will do this in mid MMR, they will do this low MMR, and guess what, they still do this in diamond, because well, you're watching it right now, and that's a free gank. And because I was watching my minimap, I don't need pings from the Teemo, I knew her flash was down, it's the easiest kill. Teemo's tanking the minions a little bit for me, didn't really have to. I did take the kill myself, and as a jungler, it's okay to do that. However, watch this next bit. What are you mostly shown when you have this happen? The Illaoi burned her flash level 3, she TPs back to lane, you come in and kill her. Teemo's low HP, he has gold, we need to push the wave with him. Well, I don't do that. I don't do that because I want to go take the crab, and the Master Yi shows up on the bottom lane. But this whole gank, this whole next phase is set up by Teemo, because what he could have done is simply autoed the minions as much as possible, shoved the wave in order to deny his enemy top laner any sort of farm. It lets the wave rebound so he can go back to base and walk on up. So what he's done is he's frozen the wave. That means he's just letting the minions die by themselves, letting them battle each other, and only last hitting to try and get the minion waves to stack in his favor so that Illaoi has to walk all the way up the lane to actually CS. And if you are a higher experience level or you win the matchup, that can be really devastating for the enemy laner because they can't really walk up and CS without getting punished. And as a jungler, if your lane is going to set up a second repeat gank for you like this, you must not waste this opportunity. Like the Jarvan before, you have time that the laner has to walk back up because they don't have teleport, so this strategy here, this works for any lane. But Illaoi, unlike the enemy Lulu, has brains. She thinks I'm going to go ward that bush in case Warwick comes again. Oh, but I'm sitting here. I Q through and fear her towards the Teemo, which gives Teemo time to start doing some DPS, and we just chomp her before she gets under the safety of her tower. Again, I secured the kill, but that's okay. Now, as a jungler, you want to actually help your laner push here. You want to give that pressure release so he can go back as soon as possible. However, there's another jungling idea that if you're dominating a lane like this, and again, she was dominated. No summoner spells, down 2 levels, no CS, no gold, can't rebuy wards. You've done the same thing that Jarvan did to the Lulu, but playing off of your laner's minion wave management. As a jungler though, I know because of this, the Master Yi is going to try and hug that bottom side of the map, even if we didn't have vertical jungling, because I started on the bottom side of the map. This means I want to go back as soon as possible to get to the bottom lane because I'm assuming the Master Yi is going to try the same thing. Hey, Warwick's repeat ganking on the top lane, I should repeat gank on the bottom lane. Because of this, it allows me to rotate in time for a perfectly timed counter gank to pick up 2 more kills. This was a bad teleport by the Yasuo, he really didn't need to waste that summoner. But again, complete domination of one lane leads to advantages gained elsewhere. It's the easiest way to get fed, it's the easiest way to tilt the enemy laner, and it's the easiest way to ensure that your laner has the best chance to become a raw spud laner, not a semi-sentient potato, as we talked about in the last video. And you'll see Teemo taking this lead and ensuring an all-in fight on the enemy top laner before she hits level 6, and that's something else to keep in mind. If you're the jungler and this domination of a lane, shutting it down completely by basically ganking every time they return to the lane, you want to try and time your gank such that crucial levels or item spikes are denied. If you're against a Shen and you're the jungler, try and get a gank off on him before he reaches level 6. You deny that global ultimate for a little bit longer. That's why looking around the map to see your laner's experience levels as well as the minion wave states are most important during this kind of strategy in any game you play. And as a final note to laners, please don't put yourself in a position to be dominated in this way. Look at this Quinn. She's sitting in the tri-bush, she didn't have to leash the enemy jungler, and she tries to trade on the enemy laner, gets chunked a little bit, knowing full well that the Kindred started on the top side. You just set yourself up for level 2 failure like the Lulu did. That's not on your jungler, that's on you. It's very easy to ward and predict level 2 ganks. If you think they might be coming, even from a Kindred, just put that ward down. Don't take silly trades when you know the enemy jungler's on that side of the map and your jungler is heading on to the opposite side. And as a final note to junglers, if you're Evelynn, Twitch, Talia, Kayn, anything of that sort, the circular routes of ganking and then waiting around using your camouflage or wall jumps can be absolutely devastating. If you kill a lane or you force them to back, wait in a position so that when they come back to lane, you can intercept them before they reach the safety of their tower and pick up even more kills. That is another great way of completely shutting down an enemy lane, because not only did they just get ganked, but before they could even get back to lane, they're dead again. It's nothing worse for an enemy's mental when a jungler does that. So keep that in mind if you're playing a camouflage champion or something with great map scaling. Use it to your advantage. Remember, when laners get killed before they get back after already being ganked, it is the ultimate tilt device that you can use in any elo to guarantee some wins. I hope you enjoyed and learned something. Please like, share, and comment if you did. I wish you the best of luck getting raw spud laners. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more jungle videos coming very soon. Join us on the Discord, and as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.